but it was hard because I couldn't interact with you on there. So I thought we would do a quick Zoom and talk about what you guys want and how to get there. So some of you have done, a couple of you have done class with me, and you've seen how like I process, how I do that processing. Hey, Charisse. So you've seen how I do the processing and how I get people to that space of creating what it is that they want. So I always talk about, like in my classes, I say that I live my life in 4 stages. So it's, the first one is the compelling vision. And I ask people, what's your compelling vision? Okay, much different than a goal. Compelling vision is huge, right? A compelling vision is something that can shift and change and morph. It's that huge, it's not like this is what I'm going to create. It's this big, huge vision that it can include so much. And then step 2 is the plan. What's your plan, right? So, writing out the details. Step 3 is you need to get your butt up and do the work, or sit your butt down and do the work, right? And step 4 is the celebration. And that's what most people skip. So what most people, so like in corporate America, you see people go plan, do, go plan, do, go plan, do. There's no celebration. That's why people get burnt out. So I tell people, once they accomplish their compelling vision, then you need to celebrate. However that is. You can go out and whoop it up with friends, go out to dinner and, celebrate that way, or you can get a massage. Like whatever it is, you need to anchor in the fact that you've created what you want and you've touched upon that compelling vision. So we're not gonna have time to process everyone today, but you guys will get the energy of, when we're talking to whoever it is we're talking to, you'll get the energy, and you're all on this call. Like I really believe that everything happens for the right reason. So you guys are all in this energy together. So you'll notice like, oh yeah, I have that issue, or, oh yeah, that's coming up for me too. Right. So, pay attention to that as well. So, does anybody know what their compelling vision is, but they don't know how to create it? Raise your hand. You all don't know what you want? That's a whole other subject we can focus on.
I'm not sure anyone wants to speak up.
No, well,
yeah, it takes a while.
like I've definitely been working on my compelling vision, and I see myself in that role. I've been doing a lot of like future self work, and like just like spending time kind of visualizing her and seeing her clearly. And so much so that like the path isn't as clear as I want it to be, which is a lot of my work anyways, because I'm just like,
okay, stop.
Let me see behind the curtain now.
So what is your compelling vision? So if I were in a hotel with you and I jumped in the elevator and I said, oh my God, I love your hair, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking and I said, hey, what do you do? What would it be? And you have like 10 seconds to tell me.
10 seconds would be, I boldly create an inspired and safe space to connect, and as many mediums or applications or as many different ways that I can put myself in that role. That's how I do it.
I have no idea what that means.
It's so hard to describe.
Okay, so close your eyes. I know you'll play with it really well, so. Put your hand in your heart and take a deep breath. What do you want?
To be a performance artist and travel the world and create a...
Perfect. That's it. So it's not about the words, Sarah. So when you were talking before, when I said, what is it that you want? And you
Mm.
started talking, I couldn't even I was like, yeah, this just doesn't feel like I heard the words. But when you just said, I want to be a performing artist and travel the world, like, did everyone feel that? Like, you may not even know what that means or what that looks like for her. Like, what's a performing artist? What is she? But you could feel it from her heart. It doesn't matter what you're
Right.
speaking. We can feel your heart. And that's weird that my computer is ringing because my phone's off. So we can feel it. So when you just said that, when you took a breath, put your hand on your heart and said, I want to be a say it again.
I want to be a performing artist, a performance artist,
And travel the world.
and travel the world. Yeah.
So did you see can you feel how much more powerful that was
Yeah, for sure.
when she said it? Yeah. And it was real. So now tell us what that looks like.
That's the hiccup right here. That's the hiccup.
Okay, so your compelling vision is still forming,
Mhm.
right? So
I-
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Because so you may not know what the end result is. You may not know, and that's why I love the compelling vision, because a goal is like one and done to me in my head. When I say goal, you reach that goal and you're done. A compelling vision is you want to be a performing artist and you want to travel the world, but that can always be changing and shifting and morphing into a bigger compelling vision. So you may not know where this is going to end up, but when you said I want to be a performing artist and travel the world, I felt it, right? So maybe that's still forming for you. It's not totally formed yet, right? So is that the truth? How do you feel when you say that?
It feels amazing. It feels fantastic. It feels like all the things that I've ever told myself that I shouldn't feel good about. Like, when you feel like that childish, jovial, carefree, this feels amazing. I can fly, I can breathe, I can do anything. And then that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Okay,
And
that's how you know it's your compelling vision, when it feels good. When it doesn't feel good, it's not your compelling vision. It may be something you think you have to do or somebody told you have to do, but it's not your compelling vision. Because when you hit your compelling vision, it's like bliss, right? It's like that truth that you know that this is truly it. So if that's your compelling vision and you're saying you don't know how to do it or where to go, that's perfect. So the next step is the steps. So how are you going to get there? So step one, I'm going to I don't know what it is for you. I'm going to contact people that I know who are in this industry. Step two, I'm going to get my performing artist clothing together, whatever it is for you, right? But the compelling vision is what you want to focus on. So here's the biggest tip that I tell people in my class, because I have people in my class say, yep, I have a compelling vision. And these are the steps. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a website. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk to this person. And then all of a sudden they get on Wix and they can't figure out their website, and that's gone. And that's when they get stuck. So, when you see people who have, who you think, wow, they have so much potential, but they're never doing what they're meant to do. They're not doing it, right? That's because they get stuck in the details. Because when you go back, write out the plan, but continue to hook on to the compelling vision. Because the compelling vision is something where somebody might come in and say, hey, I am a website designer and I just met you, at the restaurant downtown, and I can do that for you. But if you have these steps and these goals, no, I wanted to create my own website. I wanted to do you're going to get stuck in that. So just let focus on the compelling vision, and it's so much easier. So when people say to me, Like when people ask me, this is a perfect example. How did you write your book? I honestly, I have to kind of make it up because I don't really know. I'm not a writer. That's not, something. I'm not a professional writer. I just went to live with somebody in Palm Springs, many years ago, obviously before I wrote the book. And she said, you have to write a book about what you did and how you helped me this week. I mean, I lost 5 pounds. We were eating tons of food, and I said, well, I don't know how to write a book. I've never written a book and I'm not a writer and I don't have the money. I mean, I was like in my 20s and I said, I don't have the money to do it. But instead of focusing on that, like, how am I going to do this? I kept focusing on the compelling vision. I kept dreaming like, okay, what if I write a book? If I write a book, I can reach thousands, if not millions of people who will then like hook onto this idea of raw food and healing your body, and they'll get it. They'll get how to heal themselves. And if I write the book, then I can travel and maybe I'll make money from it. And I can create this whole, maybe I can open restaurants. Feel it? Feel the difference? Instead of like, gee, I don't know, let me sit down and write this out,
Yeah.
And once I started doing that and opening the energy, I all of a sudden like ran into somebody who said, hey, I wrote a book. I'll tell you how. And hey, I have a publisher. And hey, I have, you know what I mean? All these people started coming in because of the energy I was opening to.
I like that. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. But you have to get your compelling vision. So when it was perfect that you did that, because when you first started talking, it was like, I don't know what you were saying, but it was all this other stuff around it. And it's like, you got to and sometimes you don't have your compelling vision. So sometimes that's the first step, is to hone your compelling vision.
Now, when I sit down to write my compelling vision, like am I writing a page? Like how much detail am I going into when it comes to this? Like how much, like how thorough should I be? Like really like.
What do you mean? So your compelling vision is
Like
that
I
elevator
guess.
speech.
Like I guess like as I'm writing this out, like I could go into detail as to like how, like where I go to get my hair dyed and like all different things like that. Like is it?
Yeah, the more real you can make your compelling vision. So some people say to me, I want to be a performing artist and travel the world, and they have no vision of what that looks like. But the more real you can make it, you can see your hair being done and these cool clothes, and you see yourself meeting these amazing people and the places you're going to go and the food you're going to eat there. And like the more rich and yummy you can make it, then that energy, that's like in meditation, right? When you get into that bliss state and all of a sudden everything opens up and abundance starts flowing in, money starts flowing in, people start flowing in, right? So it's just closing your eyes. For you, it's not writing. Just stop writing. You're writing way too much. You have to
It's like emotional, right? It's like that, pulling that emotion out, like you had affect and.
Right. Yeah. So you have to.
And she did too in the beginning.
Right. But this is what I'm getting for you. And it's my opinion, so take it for what you want. You have to stop writing, because it's like the detail, you're too focused on the detail in that way. You have to go in and see your future self and what that is and who she is and what she's doing every day. It doesn't have to be 5 hours. It can be 10 minutes. Close your eyes right when you wake up in the morning. Wow, who am I becoming today? And see her again, see what she's wearing, see what she's doing, see where she is, see what she's performing, see what she's saying. Then the rest of the afternoon, then like an hour later, you'll be like, oh, wow, it's weird. I hear that song that or that poem I was going to perform that I saw in meditation this morning. Then you write that down. Then you write that out. But you dream it in the meditation, in the quiet time, and you see that future. Then she's going to help you write it, because you're too in your head. You got to get in your heart with this and feel it.
Thank you.
Do you feel that?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to solve all the problems, and that's all I ever want to do.
Right. You got to bring the energy from your head into your heart, because you're way too in your head about it. So because when you set it from your heart, when I said, wait a minute, what do you really want to do? We all felt that. And
Mhm.
that is what is going to bring other people in, like, oh my God, I totally feel that. That's amazing. I know somebody who does costume design. Then you're going to meet somebody else. Like, I know somebody who has a villa in Italy you can go live at, and there's a performing artist that, do you know what I mean? Because when you people care, the words, we know you're intelligent, you can do this. The words don't matter. It's what we feel. That's what hooks people in. When you speak from your heart, that's what people want more of.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure. Cool. So did that make sense to you guys?
Very much.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We can do one more if you want. Anybody else? Their compelling vision? Anybody have their compelling vision, or? Raise your hand.
I think one of the fears for me is
I was
being
waiting
able
for
to.
you, Leslie.
Huh? You were waiting for me?
Yeah. I knew it was you. Go ahead.
Oh no. I feel like one of the biggest fears is letting go. When you've been doing something for 21 years and you've got this comfort zone of regular income, your medical and dental benefits paid for, and you've got all these great things, and you tell people how lucky you are and how fortunate you are. They're like, oh my gosh, don't leave that. Don't stop doing that, because you've got it good.
Right.
But there's another side of it that people don't know, other than my family, to being here. And I'm ready. I mean, my first dream would be meet someone, fall in love, and have them retire me, and then be able to do what I want when I want. Second thing, of course, would be the lottery, be able to do the same thing. But how much more fun would it be to do it with somebody who you really care about, right?
Yeah.
So both things I have about as much chance of getting, I think, equally at this point. But maybe not. Maybe it means picking up the paintbrush again. Maybe it means creating in the kitchen again. And maybe it means, I want to be able to wake up every morning and go, okay, I'm waking up when the sun wakes up. And wake up with the sun. I want to go to bed when I'm tired, not because I have to go to bed early, because I have to be at work at 7:30 in the morning. Those are the freedoms I'm ready to. I'm too old for this crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. So what's the compelling vision? So take a deep breath.
The compelling vision is the freedom to be able to do what I want when I want, and not have to worry about where the money's going to come from to be able to do it.
Okay. So when people say that to me, it's always interesting to me, because you can do what you want when you want, but if you don't know what that is, how are you going to get there? So just saying, like, I want to do what I want when I want, and have the money flow in, but you don't you want to be doing something that you love and that's your passion, right?
Right.
Even if and that could mean laying on the couch all day. I mean, it's not about like some lofty, it can be whatever. It can be spending time with your dog. But what is the compelling vision? What do you truly want?
There's a lot of things I'd like to be able to, because I'm so spontaneous that I want to be able to live in that spontaneity. I want to be able, if I get up in the morning, it's a beautiful day, get on my motorcycle, go ride up A1A. I want to be able to, if it's a crappy day, be able to stay inside and read a really good book. Or paint if that's what I want to do, or do something in the kitchen. But I think that spontaneity, I'm so spontaneous that it's hard for me to stick to one thing. And I volunteer. One of the things I've thought about doing is being a death doula. So I'm looking into doing that. But my brain's like all these different, I could do this, I could do that. And right now, and in my astrological chart right now, I'm in a 19-year cycle where I'm ready to start all over again.
Are you a Gemini?
No, I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Scorpio, Aries rising, and we were talking about Taurus. Well, Taurus is in my second house.
Okay.
So when we had this new moon, it was really interesting for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here again, it's like that's great. Like, we hear what you're saying, but it's like you've got all this stuff, right?
Right.
And that's great. So there's an exercise I do in class. I'm going to show you guys. Let me see if
Okay.
okay. So can you guys see those 4 things?
Reminds me of my life. A little scattered. A little scattered.
Okay. Okay. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So even though, let me talk first. Even though, when I say what's your compelling vision, it doesn't mean it's one thing. So first of all, I, could never do one thing. I do a million different things, right? I opened an art gallery last year. I do a million different things all the time. I mean, I paint, I do energy healing, I do the raw food, right? And in it, I get it. It's, it's like finding a way to incorporate all that and have freedom and live the life you remind me of me when you're talking about this, right? But in the ultimate goal, yeah, the compelling vision is, okay, to have freedom and, to be free. But what does that really mean? So when you say to your future self, when you say my future self is free, what do you see? What do you see her doing? Do you just see her standing there in a wheat field 24 hours a day? I mean, she's going to get bored. Even freedom,
Right.
that gets boring after a while, right?
Right.
So this is, you have all these things, right? All these things are you, okay? And, where do I go? What do I pick up first? Do I pick up the lip balm, the glasses, the homeopathic remedy, the phone, the vitamin C? Like, what do I do? And you don't do anything sometimes because it's like, well, I want all of this. I want freedom to do whatever I want, right? But what we don't realize is when you pick up the lip balm, like when you go for something and you do it and you say, okay, this is my passion, this is what gets me excited, then behind that, oh my God, there's a pair of glasses. I didn't even see the glasses because the lip balm was in the way. But once I picked up the lip balm, I saw the glasses. And then, oh my God, once I picked up the lip balm and the glasses, I saw the vitamin C. And then I picked up the vitamin C, and now I can see that there's a homeopathic remedy. And this can all be, it can be Leslie's, when I do it in class, I say it's Leslie's fruit salad. And this is all you. It doesn't have to be one thing, right?
Right.
It can be all of this. So it's not like, okay, do I go live on a farm? Do I go just ride my motorcycle? Do I go? No, you do all of this, and it's called Leslie's Retreat, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And it's everything. But what is that? What is that compelling vision? So when you see your future self, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what does that look like in your dream? Like if you had 10 years to live and money wasn't an issue and you were, what would that be? What would that look like?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How do you do that when you're so spontaneous and one day one thing excites you, but that same thing doesn't excite you the next day?
Because it's this. It's the fruit salad. Everything can be there.
Wow.
It doesn't mean that you're going to stick with that one thing.
Right.
But this is so you don't have your, which is fine. You don't have your
Right.
compelling vision. It's still forming because you're afraid to pick up one thing and get stuck.
Yep. Maybe. Or because my attention span is about that big.
Yeah.
I can pick up a paintbrush. I can pick up a paintbrush and paint for like a half hour and go, okay, I'm done and I'm finished, and there's glitter all over and there's everything all over, and I'm like, you know what? It'll wait. I'm like, I can't even deal with cleaning it up right now.
Yeah.
And then I have to go and move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the weird thing is here at work, I'm not like that at all because it's so structured and I know exactly what I'm going into.
Right.
But I go into that other side of me and it's completely different.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm the same way, honest to God.
So I'm not sure how to find what that one I guess I have to really meditate on what that one compelling vision is going to be
Yeah, but
and
it's
bring
not,
it in.
but it's not one. That's what you need to, that's what you need to make sure you hear. It's not one
Okay.
thing. So the compelling vision can be, you know, for instance, I don't know if you want to do this, but I want to live on a farm where I have an art studio, a cooking, you know, a kitchen for cooking. I can ride my motorcycle. It can include all of that. It doesn't have to be one thing, but if the compelling vision isn't there for what that, even if I do 50 things, what does that look like? And that's what I don't think you have. You know what I'm saying?
So the vision would be like, okay, me waking up in the morning and going, oh, wow, it's a gorgeous day. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do my pattern on the trestle board. I'm going to do some gardening. And now I'm going to play with the dog, take the dog to the dog park. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No,
See all of
no.
So, and visualize all of it,
yes.
all it like, be able to have,
All,
visualize what each day might look like.
exactly. Because you don't know what you really want. And then when you
don't.
start doing, exactly. So this is perfect because this is the opposite. Like we just did, you know, one with Sarah. So this is cool. Like, some people say to me, no, I know what I want. I want freedom. Well, what does that look like? I mean, freedom can be like prison after a while.
Right.
You don't know what that is. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
do.
yeah, like freedom, great. What does that mean? Again, standing in the middle of a wheat field all day, like, what is that? Like, then you don't have people around you. Then you don't know. Okay,
Right.
so then you realize, oh, I want like close people to me that I love. Or, gee, I'm not feeling fulfilled because I'm not painting. So yeah, I want my painting. So yeah, you know, those are just words. What does that really look like? And you're not, which is great. You're in a great position. This is awesome. The dream can be huge. Like, there's no limitation. What is that? What do I really want to be doing every day? And it can be 25 things.
Right.
And then when you really get that, okay, then how can I do this and support myself? Maybe I open, you know, if you say, for instance, you know, and not that you said that, but I want to ride my motorcycle. I want to live on a farm where I grow my own vegetables. I love children. Then maybe you open, you know, a place where people can come and bring their kids and you do art with them and you cook
Right.
with them and you know, teach them how to ride dirt bikes, or you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
but you know what I mean? It's like becomes and that's when creative ideas come. That's when you see somebody open something or do something, you're like, wow, that was a unique idea. Because it's not, you're
Yeah.
not going to do what everyone else is doing. It's your
Mm-mm.
own fruit salad, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
It is. Oh my gosh, this is helpful. But it's visualizing it and getting over the fear of being able to at some point go, okay, see ya.
yeah. Getting over
And
that.
finding out it and how's the income, how,
Yeah.
I'm nowhere
But
near
you won't
ready to
have to
financially
worry about,
retire
but you won't
because
have
it'll
to
just
worry
happen.
about that. Yeah. Because you don't even know what you want.
Right.
Right? I mean, you kind of
Right.
do, but you
I
don't
do.
really,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't really have the compelling vision. Once you have that compelling vision, that's what I was saying to Sarah. You know, that's why people do it backwards. They sit down, they write out the steps. How am I going to do it? Am I going to stand up? Am I going to sit down and do it? Get the compelling vision. It's so much easier. Then it just brings everything in.
Okay.
And the money, because then you're really doing what you want to do and who you you know, people say, well, I tried to do my passion and what I wanted to do, you know, because they had this idea, but it's not.
Right.
I believe that it's not, if that's not happening, then it's not truly who you are and what you're supposed to be putting out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, a lot to work on.
yeah, and once that starts coming in and the energy starts coming in and you start getting excited and you start seeing how the pieces all come together, and you can't even see it yet, right? Because you haven't even picked up one of these.
Right.
But once you pick up this, then wow, maybe I could do this. And then once you pick up this, like, wow, maybe there's like a piece of land somewhere I could do this. I didn't even think of that before. And then once you pick that up, like somebody's going to come into your life and say, hey, I'd love to do this with you.
Right.
Right? But it's
Wouldn't
like,
that be wonderful?
yeah. but you need to think about what is really the truth of, you know, who you are and what you want to be doing. And it doesn't have to forget about doing one thing. I mean, that's, you know,
I'd
that's
be bored.
huh?
I'd be bored.
Right. Yeah.
Like that would never work for me.
Right. And most people would be, but they don't let themselves believe that. You know, they think, okay, I have to do one thing the rest of my life. So it's fine. It can be your own creation.
Thank you
Yeah.
very, very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very helpful.
Good.
Very
Yeah.
helpful.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Did everyone get something from that? Yeah. This is
So-
the stuff I love to do. I mean, it's so powerful. And, you know, we're taught, like, this is my favorite thing to do with me. This is what I do with people in private sessions. Like, this is, you know, because we're taught so differently, right? We go to school, we have to pick a subject, we, you know, have to pick something to do for work. And, you know, it's just people, this isn't the way we're taught to
Right.
figure out what we want to do in our lives.
It's true. And it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday about belief systems.
Right.
And you get those belief systems so ingrained in you, whether it's from your parents or your teachers or peers or whoever, that breaking away from them is probably one of the hardest things to do.
Right. And
And
that's
I had
when
to
we
do
were
that
on,
years ago.
yeah. And when we were on the live video, that's why yesterday I kept wanting to say more, but I was like, oh my God, I can't do this over a live
Right.
video because it has to be interactive, you know?
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm so glad we did this. Hopefully you
Me
guys-
too.
Oh, good. I knew it was going to be you. I it kept coming through, and then I knew there'd be something else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, time for a change.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what this time is calling for all of us, right? It's,
Yeah.
you know, time to, you know, I wasn't sure I wanted to like put, you know, I've been hiding now everyone and their mother does, you know, spiritual stuff, but, you know, for the past 30 years, I really didn't think I'd be doing like light language, you know, speaking in tongues over, you know, over my Facebook. And now, like, you know, the virus changed everything.
Well, we were talking about that here yesterday because I have an altar under my computer, like on my computer stand. I have a little altar with a skull, with a crystal skull and a whole bunch of stuff. And so people, and this company is just not about that. Like my boss would think that's witchcraft, you know? So yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm a happy witch. Thank you very much. So we were talking about how even some of our managers have been coming by to me, and a couple other people going, what crystals can I borrow from you today? I really need this crystal. And what should I buy for my office? And it, like everything. So it's starting to kind of spread.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's now kind of more out in the open, but I've had these little guys hanging out in my office for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Cool. So yeah, does anybody have any questions about any of that or?
Well, I'm a lot like Leslie, I think. And so basically all these ideas that are floating around up here. So if I grab one and I take it and I start working on it, and then everything else is going to fall into place and my compelling vision will grow along with it. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
Yours is something else. So you just don't believe in yourself enough to do this, Joyce.
Okay.
Right? Is that accurate?
It's accurate. It's accurate. I have thousands of things that I would love to do and start doing and stop doing. And then you hit the nail on the head when you said you get to the details and I stop, like flat dead stop.
Yeah, for you, hang on, I'm getting a hit. Yeah, you run up against a block. You just don't believe that you're good enough to do it or that people are going to like what you're doing. Well, you do it first, you get excited about it.
Yes.
And then it's like, yeah, something stops you. It's like you get scared. It's the fear.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
So how do you get through that? What's the fastest, easiest way to get through that? Just go ahead and do it anyway?
No. So that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because, you know, people say that. So just do it anyway. That's what I was saying yesterday in the video. Like they put, okay, I'm just going to conquer this fear. I'm going to push up against the fear. I'm going to push up against the fear. I'm just
Yeah.
going to break through the fear. But if you have the fear, you have to work through it. It's like making peace with the fear, because on the other side of the fear is where the love is and where the joy and abundance is. So you have to figure out, I mean, there's a lot of different techniques, but one, like I was saying yesterday, go into the dread. So when you start a project, okay, like name one of the projects.
Herbalism, just
Okay.
like making things.
Okay, so when you start making things and you get excited and you're like, oh my God, I can make this line of products. And, you know, you get all excited and, you know, you take it, like you start making stuff and you take it only so far. And then what happens?
I just stop. I get there, I might do it 2 or 3 days, and then it just kind of like fades out, and then something else catches my interest and I grab it and I do the same thing. So it's just a continuing process with that for a long time. So
Okay.
it's time to get off the train, especially right now. So
Oh, so, okay, so close your eyes. Take a deep breath. So you're making lip balms or scrubs or something, whatever you're making, and you make it for a couple of days. And then what's the feeling when you start to all of a sudden, you know, like I'm going to stop, or I lost my interest or something else? What's that feeling?
it's kind of like a letdown or a dread.
It's the dread.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good because it's probably a belief that I can't go forward because I'm not worthy or good enough to do this, and who's going to buy it. And then I start going on that whole thing. And sometimes I just drop it and move on to something else. The same thing just happens over and over.
Right.
But
So especially if the same thing is happening over and over again, then you know that sorry, I just got really distracted. It looks like Erin is tiny and standing on the bridge. How did that happen? That was really weird. Those backgrounds are, oh my God. So that's what I was talking about yesterday, is going into the dread. Okay. So that's one technique. You go into the, like, that starts coming up and you know that that's a pattern. So it starts coming up and you say, okay, what is the dread? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? I make all these products, no one buys them. And because of that, what happens? Well, I'm stuck with a bunch of products. And then what? And then I've wasted a ton of money. And then what? And then I can't pay my bills. And then you follow the train. Where is it really going? Because it's never as bad. You know, are you going to die at the end of it? No, probably not. You know, are you going to be homeless? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, you follow the dread because it disperses the energy. And when you, and then there's another technique I'll teach you guys another time, but you take that energy and you throw it into a positive future, because we all have positive and negative futures, right? It's what you choose. But for you, there's something about the being good enough. And you just said it too, you know, who's going to buy this for me? The being good enough. You got to go in and work with that. And
I don't think I compare to the other people that are already doing it, and they've already done it and they're really good at it. So where do I come in, and where am I going to fit in
right.
that, which
right.
I don't have.
Right.
So.
And you don't want to just push through and then the whole time, because even if it did happen and you're making products and they were good enough and you got them on store shelves, you're going to be living in dread, like the other shoe is going to drop. You know, eventually people are going to find out I'm not good enough. People are going to find out these products aren't as good, right? So you got to go in and figure out where that's from, whether it's the adolescent or the child. For you, I think it's the child, a little bit adolescent, but yeah. And you don't have to, you know, this is years worth of work. I mean, I said, you know, I say to people often when they come to me for healing, you know, have you worked with the inner child? And they're like, oh yeah, I've done a couple meditations. I mean, I've worked with that. Like, this is like when you really do the inner child work. I've thought of putting like a program together for the inner child, because it's so important. Everyone I work with, like at some point, it usually comes back to the inner child and the inner adolescent and how to work with them and how to heal them, because they are a part of us. They're a real
Right.
part of us, right?
Right.
And you're not going to get rid of them. And they did a lot of things years ago to protect us, but those things aren't working anymore. And if you let your child and adolescent run your life, forget it. Forget it. It's going to be a train wreck. So you don't want to just, it's not about getting rid of them. You want to make peace. And you want to, when they come up, you know, like even at this, I mean, and it's, you don't have to do, you know, years and years worth of work to heal a little piece. I mean, you can heal a little bit, and even that little bit will free you up. You know, it's a domino effect, and then you keep working on her. I mean, I've worked with my inner child for 30 years. Mine still, you know, some people's comes up, their inner child and inner adolescent stuff comes up in business, like you're saying, or mine comes up in relationships. It's really fun. You know, as soon as they start dating, I'm on the phone, I can hear my child come up and be like, you know, I hear her. And then in my adult brain, I'm like, hang up the phone right now. And she's like, no, we're staying on the phone. And I'm like, hang up the phone. I literally have a battle. But then I get off the phone and I'm like, okay, what is happening? You know, I go into meditation. I'm like, what is going on? She's like, I don't like this. I feel like, you know, we're not getting the attention we need, or whatever it is. And I have to say to her, I will give you the attention. You are fine. I'm the adult. You can trust me. We will get the attention. We will get what we need. What do you need right now? Do you want a coloring book? Okay, let me take you to the playground. You do that in meditation and you calm them down. But you have to earn their trust first. It's a whole process.
Okay.
But now she knows me, and I can, and I know her. When she comes up, I recognize it, and I'm like, no, you're not running the show. And I thank her for being concerned, but I'm the adult, and you can, and over time, she'll, you know, first she's going to be like, well, I don't trust you. You never protected us when we were young. You never protected us in this situation, you know, whatever it is. Right. But you earn their trust. It's a whole thing. And then you say to them, listen, you got to trust me. I'm going to make our life better. And then she calms down and she stops and she continues to be a child. So you send her, you know, to her room to write poetry or to the park or something. Then you continue on with your life. But if you if you don't heal that part of you, they keep coming up and wanting to trip you up, and not in a, you know, not because she's bad, because she thinks she's protecting you. She's like, no, I'm not this. You didn't protect us when we were younger. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's basically recognized when she comes up.
Yeah, she's coming up when you get close to doing something. She's like, no, what, you know, you're not good enough. You're going to put yourself out there and compare yourself to these other people who are doing these amazing products. Who do you think you are?
Right. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Cool.
Just related to what Joyce was saying, I guess, is that perfectionism thing. Like, I have to know exactly how to do this before I start it, and that keeps me stuck a lot of times.
So you have to know. Say that again.
I feel like I have to know everything about, let's say, making mosaics, or, you know, before I do it seriously. Or, you know, I'm not.
Why?
Because then I'm not a real artist, you know, kind of thing.
If you don't know everything about it.
If you don't know everything about it, yeah.
So who told you that?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure it came from, you know, my family somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So who, you know, that's the, like, who told you? Somebody's connecting. I'm just wondering who that is. Can you guys see that? Somebody else is coming on. It says Galaxy Note. I don't know who that is. Hello, who are you?
I'm Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
I just wanted to make sure it was somebody part of our group.
Yes, I am.
I can't see you, so I didn't know. So Eileen, that, so close your eyes. Take a deep breath. So why do you have to know everything before you start something?
Um, I think it's a perfectionism thing. Like I have to be perfect in order to earn something.
Okay. And what if you're not perfect? What happens?
Then, uh-oh, I wasn't even going to talk. If you're not perfect, then you're not loved, you're not going to succeed, you're not going to be viewed.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to be in this field if you don't know everything before you start.
Yeah. Yeah. So see what happens. So she, when you really get in touch with those emotions, that's when it gets, she got emotional, right? And it's like, this is the truth. It's not just like the word, okay, yeah, the perfectionist, I feel like I want to I need to be a perfectionism, but what's under that, right? What are those, what, right? So close your eyes again and bring the energy into your heart. So why do you have to be a perfectionist?
I think it really gets down to the love, being worthy of love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Confidence, self-confidence.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're loved even though, so say you did something and it didn't work out, what would that feel like?
I have felt that. I think there would be lots of like shame projected onto me, or like criticism, big criticism. Yeah.
So close your eyes again, take a deep breath. So what happened when you were a teenager? Was there stuff around this that if you weren't perfect?
This. When I was a teenager.
Just mute yourself if you're not the one talking so she can be.
I can't think of anything as a teenager, but maybe a little slightly before that. I think maybe I did feel like my dad pulled away from me or something emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Was that when you were like 11 or something? 9 to 11?
Yeah, 9 to 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the work, right? This is like, we all have this stuff, like we're, 40, 50, 60 years old, and it's like, if you haven't dealt with this stuff of, it's like from our childhood and, from our adolescence, it's like still with us,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the work. I feel like that for you, for some reason, I keep getting 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, that age, it's like so I would go into meditation. I would go back into that time and feel what it felt like when you weren't a perfectionist, when you did something and it wasn't perfect, when you did something but were scared to do it because if you didn't do it then you wouldn't get the love, and wouldn't you get the love from?
Okay.
So I think this goes pretty deep. I'm sure you want to do it in a group right now, but just go into that, like go into the depth of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then when you get there, feel it. Let your child and adolescent talk to you. let them tell you, because what you don't want to do. So when you're working with a child and adolescent, I really got to do like, this is the work I love. And I really want to put together a program for the child and adolescent, because nobody so many people don't know how to do this, and it's so important. And so you go back, but you don't want to see it and then say, okay, I need to change this. You want them to talk to you. You want to give them a voice, let them talk, because you may think, like you may say, oh, wow, I saw that for the first time. Oh yeah, I didn't see this before. But when you really let them talk to you, there's stuff that you may not know. And you have to make peace with them, and you have to have them trust you. And then they're going to say, well, do you remember that time? And you're going to say, oh my God, no. But as soon as you start dealing with that and disperse the energy, it's, it won't be that big of a deal in your life. It won't affect your entire life, but it is now, because it's like this hidden shadow thing that you've never dealt with, that you've been carrying around with you. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like little things, like, sometimes it's a horrific thing that happened in your childhood, or sometimes it's just a little thing like, I don't know, my mother told me once that I wasn't a good artist. And then your entire life, you think you're not a good artist. And you're like, really? From that? But, when we're a child and adolescent, it gets in, and you don't think you're carrying that. And if you've never let go of that thought or that belief, then you do something a year later and you draw a picture and it's not good. Or, then you make something for school and you don't win first prize. And it gets like anchored in for years and years and years and years. So then when you're 50, 60 years old, it's like, I'm not good. I can't be an artist, right?
Right.
So, sometimes it's just that little seed.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys. Well, we can do more of these, it's, this was helpful. I mean, this is, again, the work I love. It's just, you can go pretty deep, and hopefully those of you, that didn't talk got a lot out of this.
Mhm.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time so much and your
Yeah.
wisdom.
Oh, you're welcome. I love this work, and I love you guys. That I love being on the site and being able to do this, and this was awesome.
Wow, this is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I gotta find a way to do more of this kind of work, though, on a bigger scale, because this is the deep work and the powerful work and what I love to do. So it's, I just feel like this is, I don't know, like when I do this in my classes, the whole class is crying, and it's just people are like, I thought I came for a raw food class, This is the stuff that creates real change, So does raw food, but this stuff too,
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll do more of this. Let me figure out how. All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have a
Wow.
beautiful day.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks to everyone
Bye,
that talked.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.